In this lesson, we're going to combine all of our knowledge of what a variable is, what the different variable types are, and how they kind of interact with each other, and now some of these common operators that we just learned, and combine them all into what exactly is a statement. Remember, the spoiler alert in the previous lesson is we've already been doing this, so think about it. What does that mean? What does a statement mean? Stay tuned, and we'll find out. So a statement is literally an expression or combinations of variables and operators that combine together to create an instruction for the computer to perform. We've been doing this. This simple operation here, where we have an operator and a variable name and a variable value with this assignment there, this combined all together is a statement. So if we go back to right here, we've got a statement that's happening here. Now, statements don't have to be these small and short type things. They can be kind of complex. You'll notice that in my variables here, I've got a variable here and a variable here, and I combine the two of them together. But what if I had more than that? They can get fairly complex. If we go back and open up our hello.py, we can look, hey, these are all kind of crazy amounts of statements. Let's look at some of these and let's break this down. Let's look at some of what's going on here. Now, I know and don't expect you to understand exactly what's happening here, but let's look at some of these operations that are happening here. So we know, and I'm going to explain to you, that this is opening a file in here. Inside of that, what we're doing is we have this variable name named counts, and that's equal to this dictionary type. So we've essentially created an empty dictionary here. That's in there. Now, what we're doing here is a for loop. So here's an interesting operation. Reader is on the right-hand side, and line is on the left-hand side. Since reader, we're opening up here a file, let's assume that reader is that file. And if line is in there, then this is where using good variable names can be kind of somewhat helpful. So by looking at this, what we're doing is we're iterating over each line in here. So for line in reader, we're going to loop through each of these lines. What is that going to happen? Well, here's an interesting one. Words is equal to line.split. What is this? Well, it's splitting up the line into the individual words that's in there. And so hence words. Now we're going to iterate through each of those words in there. So we've got a for loop inside of a for loop. Well, so for word inside of there, we're going to do, and this is the one that's kind of complicated here. We've got an operation on an operation kind of going here. We have an assignment, and then we have a finding a value inside of a dictionary. And if we don't find that value, then we set it the default value to be 0. And then we add a 1 to that. So we get that. So what this is doing is this is iterating through each line, then each word, and then it stores the fact that I saw this word inside of this file, and I'm going to put it in my dictionary called counts. And the key is going to be the word name. And the value is going to be the number of times we saw this word inside of that file. So if we haven't found the word yet, then we say, well, then that word hasn't been found yet. And so we're going to have the default value be 0, but we're adding 1 to that because now we've found it. And so that's our first time finding it. That's in there. So, and each time we encounter that word, we're then going to add 1 to that. So if we saw the word the 3 times, the first time it's going to pull up and you're going to see it wasn't there. So that's the first time. Then it's going to pull up and say, oh, we already found this one time, add another one to it. It's going to be 1 time. So that's what this operation is kind of doing there. It's kind of a complicated type of thing that's going on in there. It's literally an operation of what's happening. So operators don't have to be, I should say statements, don't have to be just single operations. They can be multiple operations. For example, let's kind of mess around with this here. Let's do left be 2 and right be 3. And we're going to do left plus right. So that's going to be 5 to the left. So that's going to be 5 squared, right? So we're going to do these kind of operations. Now what's happening here is I'm going to say this right-hand side operates on this left-hand side. But because we have that wrapped up in parentheses, we have to do the inside of this parentheses first, just like in mathematical operations. So we're going to do our left plus our right, which is going to be 5. Then, which is, again, remember, you're taking your 3, adding it to 2. That gives us a new number called 5, a new number of 5. Then we do this now operation of the right operates onto left. So right exponentiations on the left. So 5 squared, and we should get 25. So let's run this. Python operators.py, and we get indeed 25. That's in there. So statements, again, remember, it's literally just the idea of the combination of variables and operations all put together to create an operation for the computer to then execute. Finally, in the next lesson, what we're going to talk about is something that's really, really important to focus and start getting done right away, and that is commenting your code. So let's talk about that in the next video.